Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you something that a customer brought in. He just pulled this out of a machine shop that he had bore and honed this 30 over, and he brought it to me to Blueprint, and he wanted me to double check the bore on it. He also wanted to change the pistons from the cast pistons that they bored the block to a set of forged pistons and upgrade the whole engine. Anyway, he told me the block was bored 30 over, and he has brought me a set of pistons to fit to this block. They're forged Manley pistons, and I told him most likely the standard deal for boring a block is for cast pistons. Normally you would bore it, or the manufacturers would want you to bore it to the exact size. So with that being said, a 30 over block with a set of Keith Black cast pistons, the block would wind up being 30 over exactly, give or take a couple of tenths. That's the way they normally do it. There's close tolerance on the skirt for a cast piston, where a forged piston requires more gap on the, or more clearance on the skirt than the cast piston. And I told him most likely once I mic the forged piston that I'll be able to hone the block a little bit with deck plates on it and increase the clearance and be able to still leave this block a true 30 over. So what I did was I set up my dowel bore gauge, which I'm going to get over here. Here it is. And again, this thing reads in tenths of an inch like the last video that I did. This is a gauge that we use for boring blocks, mostly. Anything in the short length version. This is not as long, as you can see, as the one I was using the other day for doing line honing or line boring. In any case, it reads in tenths of an inch, which again, if you don't know what that is, it's 0.00001, meaning there's 10 of those little babies in 1/1000th of an inch. That's how close we can do our machining for all this stuff. So what I've done is we have a fixture which we set these gauges up with that I've already set to 0 on this gauge, meaning that that's going to be exactly 4.030. So from there I'm going to determine how much clearance, if there is any, or how tight it is, and determine whether I can take material out of it. The first thing I wanted to do was to set this up and check the workmanship that was done before I get going on this thing. He wants me to check the bore, determine whether we can use it, and if we can, go forward with it, line hone it with studs, then parallel deck it to the pistons we're going to use, and then finish honing it with plates to get the block squared and trued up so that he can take it from there. So in any case, and the only reason we're doing this is because he's an old customer and he's capable of doing his own installation without screwing things up. Normally I don't do, or we don't do work like that often, where the work goes out for assembly somewhere else. But this is going to be a whole, a whole machine job with balancing and all that. So it was I was happy to take it in. In any case, I'm going to stick this puppy in the holes one at a time, and we're gonna look at this thing. I've already checked the block, so I know what I'm going to find here. I just want you all to see what's going on. All right. So what I'm going to do here is there's a little handle here that takes the pressure off the dial, and I'm going to stick it in the first hole here. Release the handle. Okay, now we're going to rock this thing like we normally do, back and forth. All right, that ain't going to work. Let me try.